Hello guys, Sinister Scrafty here. Today I'm making a Gen 3 Gym Leader tier list. I thought it'd be appropriate after Gen 2. I'll get to Gen 1 maybe next video, but I just thought that, 3 is after 2, so that makes the most sense. You may be asking, why did you pick Gen 2 first? And my answer to that would be out of nostalgia, I guess. Gen 2 was my first Pokemon game ever, Pokemon Gold. I'll never forget that. I didn't actually play Yellow until after Emerald. So it might be the reason why I'm doing it this way, because it was the way that I experienced it. I made the tiers a little bit more clear. Extremely hard, difficult, average, weak, extremely easy. I think that's pretty straightforward. I don't think much explanation is required here. This is, mostly talking about Nuzlocke. But, I mean, pretty much the same applies for regular playthroughs, Um, Pokemon Emerald versus Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I'm going to mention Gen 6, with each leader. Most of the time, it's easier. I'm just gonna, you know, preface the video with this. So, I'll slightly take it into account, but most of the battles are not that different, aside from the fact that Emerald just seems to be, the most hard overall, if that makes sense. And unfortunately, I closed that out. But we're going to open that back up. So, first things first, Roxanne. There's one big thing about the fight that's harder in Emerald. And that one thing is, well, actually, there's two reasons. One, Nosepass has block. Oh my gosh, that is so scary. If your Pokemon gets weak from the first two Geodudes that she has, which obviously you can see she has one less Geodude in ORAS, not really a huge deal. Block is the main thing, because you can't switch out once it uses that, and yeah, you can easily lose an encounter. Also, it has an Oran Berry in Emerald, so all in all, it's harder in Emerald. But how difficult is she overall? Well, she can be pretty tricky. Honestly, she's actually pretty hard. Um, I'm gonna say difficult. I understand that you know Trico and Mudkip kind of trivialize the fight, but if you don't have those Pokemon and you're playing with level caps, it's pretty hard. ORAS kind of makes her go down here a little bit. I honestly want to put her there for ORAS, but for Emerald, she's tough, especially early on. Yeah, most of your strong Pokemon at this point are pretty bad into her, except for the two starters, Mudkip and Trico. So, depending on how it plays out, Brawly can be literally free if you find a Sableye in Granite Cave. So, if you find a Sableye, bam, right there, extremely easy. Literally impossible to lose. Okay? Impossible. He cannot hit you in any way, shape, or form. They fixed that in ORAS. He has knockoff. Okay? And knockoff in Gen 6 is pretty crazy. I'm not going to lie. It's a really good move. So, I'm going to rank him with the assumption that you don't have Sableye. Okay? Because I already talked about how it is if you have Sableye. In ORAS, if you have Sableye, he's probably like average or weak. But if you don't have Sableye, and taking into account ORAS, he could be pretty hard too. He can knock out your Pokemon, man. He can set up a bulk up and it can get out of control pretty quick. Grovyle's kind of infamously bad into this gym because it's just really frail. And it will drop after a +1 arm thrust or +1 vital throw, whatever it may be. So there are certain, if most of the time he's going to be pretty challenging, right? That's the point I'm trying to get across here. Watson. Holy moly, dude. Watson is so scary, especially in Pokemon Emerald. He is extremely hard, man. Like, what level does Hariyama evolve? Hariyama, Shin level. Level 24. Okay, so that literally saves your ass because if you get a Makuhita, wow, you can have it be a Hariyama at this point and really have it carry you. Oh, little problem though. In ORAS, the level cap is level 21. So if you're playing with that kind of thing, then well, it's a little bit different. And I'd say like because of that, it's pretty similar in difficulty, you know. He's still pretty hard in ORAS. The lower level cap helps that a lot. But if you have Marsh Stomp, golly, is this guy free? He goes from like this to that, legitimately. But if you don't have Marsh Stomp, then he's up here. So you need literally one specific Pokemon to be able to handle him easily. That says a lot about him. And I mean, that's been the trend with these gym leaders. I've always respected Hoenn's gym leaders for being a bit challenging, compared to other regions at least. So Flannery, the white herb overheat sunny day strategy is pretty scary, I'm not gonna lie. And then they neuter her. You know, they just take out the challenge in Gen 6. This is why I prefer Emerald, personally. It's just, little touches of attention like this, I appreciate that type of thing. And like, Camerupt had Attract for no reason, just because. Slugma has Light Screen just because. Well, he has it here, but you catch my drift. Like, there's just little touches that make the battle just that much more difficult. So, no Camerupt. I don't know why they made these decisions. Like, it just makes the fight easier overall. Why didn't they just take out the extra Numill instead? That's what I don't understand. But anyway, rant aside, um, ultimately she's average in my opinion. Like, she can knock out your Pokemon. Definitely, she has that potential because Overheat is extremely strong, especially for this point in the game. Is Sun boosted Overheat, by the way? Man, and if she crits after the special attack drops, then she's still hitting you for 2 times damage. So that possibility should always be looming in the back of your mind. Again, Marshtomp answers this girl really, really well. But if you don't have Marshtomp, then she's really challenging. She can be. But overall, you have certain tools. The level cap is a bit higher, helps you out a little bit more. The hardest part about this fight is weathering the hits. If you find a way to do that, then the fight will be pretty straightforward for you. She is almost difficult though. Like, I'd say like Emerald is probably difficult, but Oris is like average. So that's why I'm gonna place her like that. I'm gonna kind of do like the mean or the average of the two rankings. Um, so Spinda, Vigoroth, Linoon Slacking versus Slacking Vigoroth Slacking. Mm, Encore, Retaliate, Yawn, Feint Attack. Thing is, right, like, Retaliate doesn't even do anything in the lead slot because, you're the first Pokemon, so that's not going to come up. I like this better. I like this team better. I'm sorry. Like, it's more diverse. His ace has a citrus berry. Counter is really nasty. I think that's really cool. He doesn't have that here. Um, Yawn is threatening, and then like the facade spam, like it just works so much better because it punishes you for statusing, and that's a really great way of handling slacking because it only moves every other turn. So it punishes you for trying to play around that fact with facade, and that's what's so cool about the Emerald one. But man, he's hard too because he hits so hard. You know what I'm saying? Like Linoon has belly drum, guys. That's really freaking scary. Linoon is a fast Pokemon. Base 100 speed. That is pretty ridiculously fast, especially for that point in the game. Wow. So yeah, definitely he's tough, but in relation to everybody else, you know, he's pretty average. Winona. I see. I don't like the Swablu on this team, but I do like the Tropius. Um, thing is, right? They took away Dragon Dance. Is that what happened? Yeah, I really don't like that. Why did they take away Dragon Dance? It does get Roost. That's pretty cool. So they made her like more defensive, basically. The Oranberry on the Altaria is hilarious considering Slacking had a Citrus Berry. So pretty good type diversity, honestly. Um, but I don't want to say weak. Maybe I should just, you know, reconsider the naming. Tough. Can give you trouble. Hits very hard. Underwhelming. You know what? No. I'm just going to do S, A, B, C, D, just like how I've been doing before. Because now that I'm thinking about it, the differences between tiers are not very big, I might say. You know what I'm saying? So I think that would be more representative. Winona is, she's all right. You know, I don't have anything more to say than that, to be honest with you. Tate and Liza, man, these are tough too. These are tough too. A Mega Ruby and Alpha Sire, they're considerably easier. But these monstrosities, oh, they are tough. They are probably S tier. You don't have many dark and ground types, and the ones that you do have aren't super great. Shiftry is really good, but you have like Mightyena, not that good. Um, can you even get Dusclops in this level cap? Yes, you have Dusclops, and I think that's it, right? Bayonet, you can have that. Sableye does all right, but his stats are starting to fall off at this point. The double battle is what makes it harder, man. And then they have like screen support. It can set up a Calm Mind, Sunny Day, Solar Beam with Flamethrower. Man, they're tough. Hoenn. So, thing with Hoenn, right? Well, Wallace and ORAS. I don't like either of these teams. They are pretty freaking easy. Like, that's Chesto Resto. I guess that's okay, but Water Pulse, like, that's not even that strong. Confusion is annoying, but in relation to, like, they're supposed to be really challenging. They're the last gym leaders. They're just not. They're just not. I feel like you can use a simple strategy and just defeat them with little to no risk as long as you plan it out. So, we'll do like a recap, right? Watson, he can end your runs if you're Nuzlocking. If you're just playing casually, you might lose to him a couple times if you don't have Marsh Top. Tate and Liza can definitely take a couple times if you're not planning. And in the Nuzlocke, you can get unlucky, or if things don't go your way, you can find yourself with a possible whiteout. Roxanne and Brawly are very, you know, encounter dependent. You know what I'm saying? Because Lotad and Nuzleaf, they're not the best. Like they're okay, but they face a lot of risk. Um, because Nuzleaf and Lombre, they can't really. They're really frail. You know what I'm saying? So I think about after two hits, Roxanne will wipe you out. You know what I'm saying? And if it uses block, then well, you just lost one of your encounters. So and then same with Brawly in relation to Sableye. If you have Sableye, really easy. If you don't have Sableye, it's a lot trickier. You find that you can't really take many hits when you're fighting Brawly, especially if he crits you, man, you're probably losing a Pokemon. Norman and Flannery both hit very, very hard, and that's where their difficulty lies. You can have certain strategies to play around them. For example, Protect. I think Flannery's a little bit harder, but I think Protect against Norman in particular is very good. Um, Flannery is a little bit harder to play around. You can try your best to deny Sunny Day. I think that's like a good strategy you could pull off. But you really need like I don't know Gyarados or something to eat those overheats because it's not easy. If you have Combuskin, you resist the fire attacks and you hit hard with your fighting stab. So there is counterplay to these guys, and that's why they're a notch below these because it's more of you need a specific Pokemon to deal with them. Whereas here it's like you don't need a specific Pokemon. You can have like a more broad strategy that will like work. That more Pokemon can fill those niches to defeat these guys. Winona, I just feel like she's generally underwhelming. Like she doesn't pose much of a threat to you. Dragon Dance Altaria can get out of control if you let that happen, but that's not even a thing you have to worry about in ORAS. So overall, like, and by the way, what's her level cap? Because like that's also really important. So the thing that saves Winona is that you can't fully evolve your starter. If you could, if you're playing with level caps, of course, if you could, it would make her even considerably easier, like probably D tier, to be completely honest with you. Um, but like Torkoal is really good into this fight, for example, because he has really high defense and he hits Swablu, Tropius, and Skarmory really hard. Camerupt is good for the same reason, has lower bulk overall, but he can get the job done still. And then if you have like a Manectric or a Plusle or a Minun, it can deal with the Pelipper really well because Water Gun, Aerial Ace, it's not going to do anything to you. Okay? And then Altaria, I'm telling you, man, Altaria is the hardest part about this fight. Honestly, her whole team could just be the Altaria, and it would be probably about the similar difficulty. The type diversity makes it more, complicated. You have to think about pivoting and stuff like that. But Altaria is definitely the real threat, and the reason why she's not in D tier, um, because the answers into the Altaria are, they're a little bit more scarce. Really afraid of ice type moves, but like you don't have a whole lot unless you bought ice beam from the game corner. In which case, then yeah, Altaria is pretty freaking easy too. These guys, it's just you have the whole region at your disposal. You can get whatever encounter you want basically. Your starter's fully evolved. Like it's just like every starter is good into this team. Swampert is good into the whole game. Let's be real. But like Blaziken, it can really hurt Crawdont. It can really hurt Celio. Really hurts Love Disc. And then Sceptile destroys this whole team except for Kingdra because it's afraid of Ice Beam. So Ludicolo is really good into this fight. Shiftry is really good into this fight. Manectric is really good into this fight. Do I need to keep going on? Like, a lot of Pokemon are really good into this fight. Like, bulky fighting types, Hirayama, you know. It's not gonna take much to crack this guy open, you know what I'm saying? So, and if you're playing with legendaries, then, you basically step on him without a second thought. So, alright guys, this is the tier list. Thank you for listening/watching. And leave a like and subscribe. Bye.